The Denver Broncos are looking for a number 2 cornerback to pair alongside their All-Pro and Pat Surtain, and funny enough, another former All-Pro corner just became available on the open market. Should the Denver Broncos be interested? That's what we're going to discuss today. According to this tweet right here from Ari Mirov, the Dolphins are going to release 4-time Pro Bowl cornerback Xavien Howard, per Mike Garafolo. He had 29 interceptions during his incredible run with Miami, and during his time in Miami was regarded as one of the top corners in the game. I really feel like Xavien Howard, especially in his 2020 season, was a true shutdown, lockdown corner. And having that as your number 2 corner, at least on paper, sounds like a good idea. But there's a reason why the Miami Dolphins are moving on from Howard. Let's go ahead and dive into PFF and take a look at maybe why Xavien Howard fell out of favor in Miami and why the Dolphins are ultimately electing to move on, aside from, of course, the obvious finances. If we come over here and take a look at his past 2 years, his PFF coverage grade has kind of fallen off of a cliff. In 2021, he had a 71.1 PFF coverage grade, and in 2020, he had an 89.6 PFF coverage grade, but the last 2 years, it's been down in the 50s. 2022, 55.2, and in 2023, his PFF coverage grade was just a 51.9. That is, quite frankly, putrid, even for a number 2 corner that he was relegated to last year because the Dolphins obviously brought in Jalen Ramsey. And last year, he also missed quite a bit of time due to injury. He only played 475 total coverage snaps last year, 743 snaps in total. On those snaps last year, he was targeted 71 times, gave up 44 receptions. That's a 62% reception percentage given up, which is not great. 502 yards, 11.4 yards per reception, gave up 2 touchdowns. He only had 1 interception. Did have 8 PBUs, gave up 7 penalties, which is not great. So overall, man, not exactly world-beating numbers right there from Xavien Howard, and that's followed up. He's following that up from a 2022 season that was just absolutely putrid, man. 55.2 overall coverage grade. In the run defense, he was really, really bad. 8 missed tackles in 2022, 7 in 2023. He gave up 54 total receptions in 2022, 67.5 reception percentage given up, 826 yards. Again, only 1 interception, 2 picks in the past 2 years for Xavien Howard, and 19 PBUs. That's solid, but still, man, Xavien Howard has really fallen off of a cliff here over these last couple of years. When I first saw that the Dolphins were moving on from Howard, I thought, hey man, this could be a good move for the Denver Broncos. I was even thinking that the Broncos wouldn't even be able to afford Xavien Howard. But now looking at this, he's not performing to the level of his name, quite frankly. His name is worth more than his actual play is right now. So I'm very curious to see what Xavien Howard is actually going to net on the open market, and maybe the Denver Broncos could bring him in on like a 1-year deal, see if he can perform well as our cornerback too. The Denver Broncos are going to have a little bit more money to work with than anticipated because the salary cap has gone up. They're still going to have to make some cuts in order to get compliant with the cap and not be over the cap, but they will have a little bit more flexibility to maybe make a bit of a splash signing. And at first I thought Xavien Howard was going to be out of the Denver Broncos price range, but now looking at his level of play over these last couple of years, it's pretty clear that Howard may have to go down the 1-year prove-it deal in order to show that he maybe is still that all-pro caliber corner who had a really, really strong 2020 season. But obviously, Father Time isn't really on his side there. He is on the wrong side of 30. So, I don't know, man. You tell me. Should the Denver Broncos maybe take a flyer on Xavien Howard if the money's right? Maybe bring him in on like a 1-year, $5 million deal. See if he can bring back some of that former glory and at least serve as the functional number 2 corner alongside Pat Surtain. I'm curious about your thoughts on that, Broncos country. Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear them as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.